can't help but ask this question. Do you think there's any longevity benefit to short periods of caloric restriction? So for instance, I decide to, by the way, I haven't done this, but let's say I were to decide to, fast and do a 1 meal a day type thing where I'm going to be in a slight caloric deficit, 500 to 1,000 calories for a couple of days, and then go back to eating the way that I ate before that short caloric restriction / fast. Is there any benefit to it in terms of cellular health? Can you, reset the system? Is there any idea that the changes, the clearing of senescent cells that we hear about, autophagy, that in the short term, you can glean a lot of benefits and then go back to your regular pattern of eating, and then periodically, once every couple of weeks or once a month, just, fast for a day or two. Is there any benefit to that that's purely in the domain of longevity? Not because there's all discipline function there's a flexibility function, there's probably an insulin sensitivity function, but is there any evidence that it can help us live longer?
I think the short answer is no. For two reasons. One, I don't think that duration would be sufficient if one is going to take that approach. But two, even if you went with something longer, like what I used to do, right? I used to do 7 days of water only per quarter, 3 days per month. So I was basically always it would be 3-day fast, 3-day fast, 7-day fast. Just imagine doing that all year, rotating. For many years, I did that. Now, I certainly believed, and to this day, I would say I have no idea if that provided a benefit. But my thesis was the downside of this is relatively circumscribed, which is profound misery for a few days. And what I didn't appreciate at the time, which I obviously now look back at and realize is muscle mass lost. It's very difficult to gain back the muscle cumulatively after all of that loss. But my thought was exactly as you said, there's got to be a resetting of the system here. This must be sufficiently long enough to trigger all of those systems. But you're getting at a bigger problem with geroscience, which I'm really hoping the epigenetic field comes to the rescue on. It has not come close to it to date, which is we don't have biomarkers around true metrics of aging. Everything we have to date stinks. So we're really good at using molecules or interventions for which we have biomarkers, right? Like when you lift weights, you can look at how much weight you're lifting. You can look at your DEXA scan and see how much muscle mass you're generating. Those are biomarkers. Those are giving you outputs that say my input is good or my input needs to be modified. When you take a sleep supplement, you can look at your 8 sleep and go, oh, my sleep is getting better. There's a biomarker. When you take metformin, when you take rapamycin, when you fast, we don't have a biomarker that gives us any insight into whether or not we're moving in the right direction. And if we are we taking enough? We just don't know. So I often get asked, what's the single most important topic you would want to see more research dollars put to in terms of this space? And it's unquestionably this. As unsexy as it is, who cares about biomarkers? But without them, I don't think we're going to get great answers because you can't do most of the experiments you and I would dream up.
Got it.